Soon after the 9-storey-high BBC Broadcasting House was built in London, a large loudspeaker was installed on its roof to solve a noise problem for the neighbours. What was it? Soon after the 9-storey-high BBC Broadcasting House was built in London, a large loudspeaker was installed on its roof to solve a noise problem for the neighbours. What was it?
Not enough noise.
Yeah, I was going to say, a speaker doesn't feel like it's going to solve a noise problem, unless it's something like a load of birds that came and roosted on the roof, and then they put some kind of bird-scaring speaker that stopped the birds from being there and squawking.
Get out of here, birds! Get out of here!
Hey, that's a much... if I could hear a pigeon cooing or a big voice being like, get out of here! I don't need birds over here! I'm going for the loudspeaker every time.
That is the scientifically proven way to get rid of crows. They're smart birds. You just yell at them in an accent and they just don't like it.
They'll understand.
No, that's not the answer. Just in case you needed clarification.
Oh, I thought we had it.
If you look at BBC News now, it's been expanded a lot over time. They've got a whole new glass structure next to it, but Broadcasting House is just a fairly bulky stone old building from, I'm going to say 1940s or 50s. I think it was originally radio. I might be out by a decade or two there, but it was after they moved in from Alexandra Palace. So it's, big, bulky stone building in the middle of London.
Okay. Thank you, because I've never seen it. So, big, bulky building for the BBC. Big, bulky building for the BBC Broadcasting. And they think, oh, okay, I'm nearby. I'm in London. Hello, it's me. I'm in London and I'm nearby and I have a problem with all the noise. And they say, fine, we'll put a loudspeaker on there. This doesn't seem like it solves the problem.
I feel like if it's a building where they're doing TV stuff or radio stuff, there'll potentially be noise being created by the recordings, but potentially not loud enough to wind up the neighbours. I'm just wondering what could be loud enough that it would be annoying people nearby.
The BBC Radio Theatre, everywhere they recorded shows was soundproofed.
Yeah.
Like very, very well soundproofed. Even back then, like there used to be audience queuing outside down the street to go and see and hear shows being recorded, I guess. But I don't know what more.
Well, maybe it was the audience that was noisy.
Maybe it was the queues down the street. Yeah. If you've got a queue down the street, that's not. Maybe the loudspeaker's just like, hey, shh. Hey, people are sleeping. Hey, shh, it's okay. Shh, quiet.
I think it might help you to know that it didn't cancel out any noise.
Okay.
Yeah, you wouldn't have had the tech to do that. I don't think you've got the tech to do that now. It's not like you can put noise cancelling headphones on a building.
Well, it wasn't, not even just noise cancelling, but it wasn't trying to cover up any noise.
Okay. And besides, you're in central London, so it's going to be noisy.
Yeah. So is it somehow making the noise less annoying?
Or was it that the people nearby couldn't tune in? Okay, I seem to remember there's something about antennas where if you're too close to an antenna, you can't receive the signal because it's broadcasting outwards from there. Is that true, or is that something I've just remembered from a completely lying science textbook when I was like 6 years old? No idea. But if you're that close to the broadcast antenna, was it that they couldn't pick up the radio that close? So they literally just put a speaker on and broadcast the BBC.
No, sadly not.
That is a noise. Because, hey, we're playing lateral. So that's a nice, twist on a noise complaint. The complaint is not enough noise.
Is
that the complaint?
You kind of are there. So the speaker was creating a noise that the neighbours wanted to hear.
But it wasn't just the broadcast. It was something else.
But it wasn't the broadcast.
So had they scared off, the birds that were meant to be there? I don't know why anyone would want to hear the pigeons like they're in Trafalgar Square. Or there used to be a noise there, and they're replacing it with a taped track. No, I started off on that, and I sort of lost faith in my own argument halfway through.
I mean, it's not... You're really circling around it. It's not birds.
Is it something like the pips, or that they want a thing on the... because would they do something like not be able to hear Big Ben striking the hour because they didn't want it to interfere with the BBC broadcast, so they had to replace it with something that played Big Ben striking the hour?
They had to replace it with a live feed from Big Ben.
Yes, you are exactly right.
beautiful.
It was so that they could still hear the chimes from Big Ben. So essentially, when the building was constructed, it was so tall that neighbours were concerned that they'd no longer be able to hear the bongs, which chime the time for Big Ben, which is, I love the fact that within the notes of this, it specifies that Big Ben is in fact the colloquial name for the clock on the Houses of Parliament, officially called the Elizabeth Tower since 2012. The pedants are going to come for the Elizabeth Tower versus Big Ben slander.
We will get complaints, always.
But yeah, so BBC Radio already broadcast a live feed from Big Ben before its news programme. So it was basically very easy and simple to put a loudspeaker on the roof and play the chimes at volumes similar to the natural strength that the neighbours would have heard before the building was constructed.
I remember there being a episode of Captain Scarlet, the like kids action puppet series from the 60s, where the plot hinged on someone hearing Big Ben strike 13 times. And the shtick being that they were listening on the radio and they could hear Big Ben, and they were, by coincidence, at the exact radius required for the bongs to be delayed by 1 second by sound, but the light speed transmission of radio meant they heard. Anyway, point being, that doesn't work anymore because digital transmissions, but it doesn't work anymore because you can't hear Big Ben that far out. And I don't know why I even mentioned it, but never mind.
Yeah, so it turns out that the neighbours had a lot of sway over the BBC and demanded to be able to hear those bongs. And so the BBC broadcast it specially for them to hear the bongs of Big Ben.